Wednesday nights at Ephrata High School brings the sound of heavy metal through the halls, but not the kind you'd expect. Agricultural maintenance teacher Kent Devine opens up his metal shop as a way to give his students time that's often taken up by class and other extracurricular work.
I have a lot of kids that need stuff to do, and they have projects that they're working on. I'm here just about every Wednesday night. They can come in, they can work on assignments. Some of them need some individual one-on-one instruction and some help with things where we don't have 20 other kids fighting for your time. So that's real helpful. Personal projects that they want to do. And then I've got some of my older kids that are looking for work, and so we come in and we kind of practice some of the industrial welds that they'll do.
Junior Sierra Hudson's been a part of the shop since her freshman year. While she enjoys being part of the cheerleading squad, she didn't anticipate the impact or fun of swapping pom-poms for a welder.
Not at all, no. I was really surprised actually how much I really enjoyed it and really I've gotten good at it. It's not too difficult. I mean, a lot of the guys will kind of look at me and be like, you can't weld, but as soon as they see it, they're like, oh, okay, never mind.
Devine said the time his students put in can help them get ahead in a job market where trade skills are at a premium. At Ephrata High School, Devin Higgins for iFIBER 1 News. In the banquet room inside Michael's on the Lake, the atmosphere was optimistic for members of the Moses Lake School District gathered to get the election results Tuesday night. Smartphones were checked and rechecked as the 8 p.m. deadline passed, and Superintendent Michelle Price delivered the news.
Proposition 96 here. Yeah, sure. Wow. That's huge. How you doing? What was the bond last time?
Grant County voters gave the district a new maintenance and operations levy, but not a new high school. The $98 million construction bond, which would have financed a new high school and extensive renovations to Moses Lake High School, required a 60% supermajority to pass. Of the nearly 7,400 ballots submitted, only 54% voted yes. The M&O levy, meanwhile, passed easily with 64% approval, giving the district between $17 million and $18 million in annual revenue over the next 3 years, which is about 22% of their annual budget. Voters approved all of the levies running on the ballot on Tuesday with large majorities. The Ephrata and Quincy School District levies received 66% and 67% of the vote, respectively. The Grand Coulee School District received a slightly lower percentage of yes votes, but was still more than enough to meet the simple majority requirement of 50% plus one. Moses Lake ran the only construction bond on the ballot. With the high school currently 700 students over capacity, Superintendent Michelle Price said the district is already planning on how to adjust to the lack of new space.
So the school board did make a decision that we would implement the year-round track schedule, multi-track schedule in the 2016-2017 school year, absent additional facilities. So the board will start with a study session to take a look at that decision, to take a look at the results of the bond, and to talk about what's next.
Members of the school board of directors and bond campaign committee also voiced their disappointment at the outcome.
For the bond, yes, I'm very disappointed. However, the community was given the opportunity to decide what they wanted to do, and we will take that vote and we'll figure out what we're going to be able to do to serve all these kiddos that are coming. So we'll just start. We've probably already got the committee going, and we'll see what we can do. It's what we've got.
I think people are worried about increased taxes, and I don't like paying a tax bill, but it is what it is. It's what we sign on for as Americans, and so I think there is also a push that people don't want to divide the community, and I understand that, but when you divide, sometimes you create more opportunities, and so we're sadly going to miss out on that, at least for now.
We felt that we really came up with a good solution for our children, and it was what we needed, which was a new high school, because obviously having over 2,300 students in a high school that's built for 1,650 students doesn't work. And it makes it very difficult for our teachers, for our students, and other options have to be considered. And this school board has already come up with an option that we were hoping to be able to avoid.
The final election results will be certified by the county on February 23rd. In Moses Lake, Devin Higgins for iFIBER 1 News. Congressman Dan Newhouse was in Moses Lake Wednesday to start a 4-day tour of the 4th District he represents. The day started at the port of Moses Lake, where the congressman got an overview of the current and future business development at the Grand County International Airport. Executive Director Jeffrey Bishop also updated Newhouse on the economic impact the current labor dispute in West Coast ports is having inland.
They're currently having to air cargo out everything. It's costing them about $14 million a year in air cargo supply to Germany.
On top of what normally it would be?
That's in lieu of shipping by water. They're also having to bring in all of their precursor material from Japan through the port of Vancouver, BC. So it's been a tremendous impact to them, to the point so that it's affecting their ability to expand.
Just as a rough number, for one container, 40-foot container, you're looking at about $2,000 to ship it ocean, where one cargo flight can be upwards of $350,000 to $400,000 per flight. So it's a significant increase in their costs.
Newhouse said Congress recognizes the need to end the dispute quickly and get the ports running again.
Well, I asked for people to share with me some of the stories about how this is truly impacting their businesses, their personal lives, and people have been very open with me. And so I can take those kinds of stories back with me to illustrate to people in Congress just how real this situation is, the impact that it's negative impact it's having, not just economically, but throughout our whole life here in the West, in the Pacific Northwest. It's actually impacting the whole country at this point. This is a huge economic impact to our distribution system that we have in this country. So I don't see any resolution in sight yet, but I'll take this opportunity again to urge those two sides to do all they can to bring this work stoppage or this work slowdown to an end so that we can get back to business in the United States.
The congressman took a guided tour of the area, stopping at Aviation Technical Services, Astroreal Technologies, and SGL Automotive Carbon Fibers. He then met with the Washington State Potato Commission and ended the day with a tour of REC Silicon. Newhouse said learning about the economic diversity in the Moses Lake area is something he can bring back with him to Washington, D.C.
First of all, the airport here in Moses Lake is really quite busy. There's a lot of different kinds of aircraft taking off and landing. While we were there were quite a number of them. So that's a good thing of the kind of activity and the business that they're doing there. I think the caliber of businesses that we have here, the international scope of the things that are developed and refined and produced and sold from businesses here around Moses Lake is truly amazing and something that is very impressive.
In Moses Lake, Devin Higgins for iFIBER 1 News. In most high schools, playing video games during class time is usually frowned upon. In the Columbia Basin Technical School's AP Computer Science Department, though, it's not only encouraged, it's mandatory.
Sitting there animation.
The program was designed in collaboration with the Redmond-based DigiPen Institute of Technology as a way to educate the next generation of computer software engineers and game designers. Students collaborate to design and build their own games, including the artwork, music, and presentation. Dr. Terry Pixley runs the department and says while students use games to learn, it's about much more than that.
Well, actually, this is an AP Computer Science class, and I think that they had tried some things like this up at the high school, but it's really hard because it's a difficult course. And so they had gone with DigiPen and they were working with a Project Fun. And yes, I know video games sound like all we do is sit here and play video games, but the focus is on learning how to code. Coding is the new literacy. It's the literacy of the future. So you can use this coding in a vast number of careers: engineering, medical, military, anything that requires a simulation. So yeah, they're learning video games, but they have to code those video games. These kids are going to be the makers of technology, not just the users of it. They can take this into college. They're getting their third-year math credit. They can get an art credit. They can get CTE credits. The sky's the limit in here.
Moses Lake senior Sony Ramos said learning the foundations of game design is a challenge that's furthered her appreciations of the game she loves to play at home.
At first, it was really tough, but then I got super excited because now I can actually do things, and even though it's not much and some people will just like put it to the side,
because it doesn't look like much at all and stuff, but actually it's pretty interesting because it's like you're making something out of nothing, and it's exciting. When you see those giant games, Battlefield and stuff, you're just like, oh my gosh, this would take forever. If I'm at my standing right now trying to make a giant game like that, it just blows my mind away.
In Moses Lake, Devin Higgins for iFIBER 1 News. The skies around the Grant County International Airport have been clearing as spring continues, but by no means is it quiet. The Flyboys of Joint Base Lewis McChord's 62nd Airlift Wing are here, and they've brought their big birds back with them. In the last 10 years, the Boeing C-17 Globemaster III has become one of the workhorses of the United States Air Force. Measuring at 174 feet long and sporting a wingspan of 170 feet, it succeeded the Lockheed C-141 Starlifter after it was retired in 2006. 4 Pratt & Whitney engines, each generating more than 40,000 pounds of thrust, give the C-17 a cruising speed of more than 500 miles an hour and lets it fly as high as 45,000 feet. Major Jamil Musa has been flying the C-17 since 2005 and is the operations officer with the 62nd Airlift Wing. He says having a training space in their backyard is very important in preparing crews for every scenario they might face.
Moses Lake is extremely important to national security. Nearby Joint Base Lewis McChord in the Seattle-Tacoma area, where we come from, the 62nd Airlift Wing, and then our partners over at the reserve component, the 446 Airlift Wing, use this airfield virtually every day. So almost every single training mission that launches out of McChord Field will come here, spend a few hours in the pattern, and then the local area flying low levels, conducting airdrops, practicing night vision goggle approaches, basically just about everything that the C-17 can do. So it's incredibly valuable, and that it prepares our crews to go out and fly a myriad of different types of missions.
The C-17 can carry up to 169,000 pounds of cargo. Everything from paratroopers to medical and emergency supplies, vehicles, even helicopters can fit in its belly. Major Musa said despite its bulk, the C-17 is far from awkward in the air.
It's a great aircraft to fly. So it, in the United States Air Force inventory, it's the newest airlifter that we have. It's extremely flexible. It's got all the bells and whistles and the things that we like in the cockpit and also in the business end of the aircraft, the cargo compartment. So we're extremely fortunate to be able to operate this aircraft, and all those things that I mentioned, the avionics and the technology, allows us to minimize the stick and rudder skills so that we can focus on executing a global airlift. So what's neat about the C-17 is it's extremely diverse, and it's used in operations all across the world. For instance, the war in Afghanistan, it's been critical. It's also participated in Iraq and the greater Middle East, countering ISIS. And then a unique mission particular to Joint Base Lewis McChord is the deep freeze mission, or the missions that go down to Antarctica to support the National Science Foundation. So what's neat is sitting here is all the training that we receive here at Moses Lake contributes to being able to fulfill those missions. So Grant County International Airport and the Moses Lake community really contribute to securing American interests abroad.
In Moses Lake, Devin Higgins for iFIBER 1 News. One thing is for sure, you can't miss Teresa and Bob Connor's home at Christmas when the sun goes down. For the last 10 years, the Moses Lake residents have decked out their Cougar Drive home in fully animated holiday regalia. Everything from polar bears to penguins and reindeer, even a fully functioning Ferris wheel adorns their yard every season. Bob says all his searching for new animals and lights has turned into much more than the average hobby.
It's an obsession. It started just with the deers, and we kind of graduated to try to add something every year. So this is about 10 years in the making. I start right after Halloween. So
it's about a month.
Yeah.
Takes about a month to get it all up and going and
everything working.
Yeah.
It's pretty much, you got a house and we're gonna just do it, and it just got more and more, and oh well, that spot's empty and there's an empty spot over there, so it just kind of add to it.
The Connors say they don't know how many lights are in the collection, and their electric bill isn't as big as it might seem. It's just their way of getting into the spirit of the holiday season. In Moses Lake, Devin Higgins for iFIBER 1 News.